Welcome back, focused learners, to today's Explainer. Today, we are looking at a concept that could absolutely fundamentally alter how humans organize on a global scale. It's called the Conectrr Alliance Network. If you've ever felt like the traditional corporate machine is just kind of broken, or that massive amounts of human potential are just totally wasted because people aren't connected to the right resources, well, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention. We are dissecting a fascinating blueprint for moving away from closed, top-down companies to a living, breathing, global coordination layer.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the exact architecture we'll be exploring together. 1. Inverting the traditional company. 2. The 6 alliance layers. 3. Measuring participation and intent. 4. Governance, councils, and the charter. And finally, 5. Building global coordination.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Inverting the Traditional Company. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer stark contrast between exclusionary corporate control and a truly participatory coordination layer. Traditional organizations operate a lot like walled castles, right? They optimize for control, wealth, and status, and ultimately, they just try to extract value from their customers. But the Conectrr Alliance model literally flips that entire paradigm on its head. Instead of just acquiring users, it acts as an infrastructure steward to actually activate humanity. Instead of extracting value, every single participant becomes a real stakeholder.
I want to spotlight this profound quote from the source material because it cements the core philosophy driving this whole thing. The company exists to steward the infrastructure. The alliance exists to activate humanity. Think about that. The purpose isn't just to sell a tech product. It's to become a living coordination layer that identifies needs and matches them with solutions. It's like the company is just the plumbing, but humanity is the water flowing through it.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this actually builds out. The 6 alliance layers.
So this architecture expands outward through what they call progressive disclosure. Step 1 is the stewardship circle, expanding out through the builder alliance, the organizational alliance, the community alliance, right into Step 5, opportunity, and Step 6, the resource alliance. We're moving from a foundational core all the way out to global resources. Let's break down exactly how these layers function.
All right, Layer 1, the stewardship circle. In a traditional setup, this would be your C-suite holding all the power and the keys to the executive washroom. But here, their responsibility is explicitly not about control. Made up of founders, operators, and ethical advisors, this inner circle is there to serve the alliance. They protect the vision, ensure ethical governance, and handle long-term planning without trying to micromanage or rule the network.
Moving outward to layers 2 and 3, we find the builders and organizations. The builder layer includes your developers, designers, and educators. And get this, they aren't employees. They're active contributors who earn their progression purely through the value they add, not through formal credentials. Same goes for the organizational alliance. Businesses, nonprofits, schools, they join not to buy a product, but to plug into massive coordination capabilities, bringing their own expertise right back to the table. So the crucial point is Layer 4, the community alliance. This is where true scale really begins. Literally any person on Earth can join this. The brilliant part? You don't need wealth, you don't need elite status, and you don't even need formal expertise. You are valuable simply because you exist and you have intentions. Because credentials totally don't matter here, this layer instantly taps into everyday dreams and needs, becoming the largest source of intelligence in the whole ecosystem.
Finally, Layers 5 and 6 ground all these abstract concepts into tangible reality. The Opportunity Alliance ensures things like jobs, housing, and mentorship are discoverable by everyone, not just the folks locked inside specific elite institutions. The Resource Alliance makes funding, equipment, and data totally connectable. The practical goal here is absolutely crucial: moving resources towards human need way, way faster than our current siloed systems allow.
Which brings us to Section 3, Measuring Participation and Intent.
Now, you might be wondering, how do millions of people navigate this massive 6-layer architecture without total chaos? It happens through the intent network model. Think about it. Traditional networks organize you by your job title or where you live. Conectrr organizes you by your intentions. Every member enters by stating a simple intent: I need help, I want to teach, or I need funding. These simple human intentions become the primary organizing principle. It cuts right through the friction of status and instantly matches those who have with those who need. And when you act on those intentions, you generate value. The Alliance tracks this through a totally novel metric called participation equity. It's a non-financial measure of contribution. It reflects the actual value you've created, like, say, solving a complex problem or mentoring a student. It isn't some vanity metric to boost your social media status. It's a transparent, permanent record of exactly how you've helped the network thrive.
All right, Section 4, Governance, Councils, and the Charter.
It is totally natural to ask how a massive, bossless network maintains any sort of order or ethical standards, and this brilliantly illustrates how specialized councils just naturally emerge. You have a technology council handling the OS, an ethics council protecting human dignity, an economic council creating opportunities. The fascinating part here is that no CEO appoints these people. They are populated through demonstrated capability. So, if you contribute heavily to education, your participation equity naturally elevates your voice straight onto the Education Council. It's organic. Overseeing all of this is the Conectrr Alliance Charter, acting as the constitutional guardrails. It operates on 8 core principles, like every human being possesses value, resources must actually move toward need, and coordination is way more powerful than competition. Principle 7 is particularly striking. The strongest system elevates the least connected. These principles basically ensure that the massive intelligence of the network drives toward global prosperity, rather than just exploiting people.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Building Global Coordination. When we zoom all the way out, we see the complete structural flow. The vision starts at the stewardship circle, gets built by the Builders Alliance, utilized by organizations, scaled up massively by the community, and connected directly to opportunities and resources. And boom, this culminates in a true global coordination network. At this final stage, Conectrr is no longer merely a company. The company just manages the platform, while the alliance itself actually powers the world.
I really want to drive home the core thesis of this explainer with this thought from the source. Global coordination cannot emerge from a small core team, no matter how talented. It emerges when the architecture itself is designed so that everyone, especially those traditionally excluded, has a meaningful path to participate, contribute, and grow. Guys, if we want true civilization-scale problem-solving, we cannot rely on a few executives in a boardroom. We literally have to build a system that explicitly includes everyone.
Which leaves us with one final question for you. What is your intent, and how will you participate in a civilization-scale network? Think about what you have to offer. Maybe it's a desire to teach, a need for funding, or just a willingness to jump in and collaborate. In a system where every intention matters and participation equals real equity, your place in this blueprint for the future is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me today, focused learners, for this explainer on the Conectrr Alliance Network. Keep exploring, keep organizing, and let's keep figuring out how we can build a better framework for tomorrow.